is to share with you an overview of the app, and I will do that very quickly. The most important piece of this is to engage the Carteret Local Food Network, that council who has led the charge in their community, not only for Carteret County, but also requested expansion funds for Onslow and Craven counties as well. So you'll have the opportunity to ask all of us questions specific to the app and perhaps how it could be applied and work in your community. So in short, the app is created to really identify local food and farm-based, agribusiness-based assets and promote them through a collection, through this aggregation of assets statewide with the umbrella of Visit NC Farms. So our goal is to be the top destination for local food in the world, and hey, right now amidst COVID, we'll take it for the state. Agribusiness is the state's top industry, and I think that gets diminished sometimes. And I think now more than ever, our state's markets have remained open. A lot of farms have strengthened their business models. Local food has never been more important. So why an app? Why a digital tool? Well, across the generations, folks know how to use technology. It's how they make decisions. It's how they get information. It's how they buy things. It's how they navigate. And a lot of shifts have occurred in the marketplace since March, especially when it comes to local food, where folks are ordering online, driving through a pickup at a farmer's market, that kind of thing. So agritourism, which is basically defined as education, entertainment, recreation on farms, but connections to farms in general has grown, has tripled between 2002 and 2017. And that's significant. What people want are experiences with farms. They want to get to know farms. They want to know where their food comes from. So marketing is typically one of the top needs of farmers, growers, and communities. So this is an opportunity to help open up the customer streams, so get lots of potential customers down the potential revenue streams for farmers. So in early March, I think on March 10th, our group was doing an outreach in Rowan County where we had probably, 40 people in the room talking about this product. We were called in off the road, and in just a matter of days, we took the early adopter communities, which were 19 at the time, and the 700 or so assets that were live within the app, and asked them, how can we help? What are you doing now? How are you going to pivot and shift based on the demands and the needs, the demands of the community, based on the unknowns? What are we going to do? So we were able to take that information and translate it into marketing push notifications, and we were able to change the content within the app within 24 hours. So the capabilities are very nimble, and we're able to be very responsive. We never imagined that we would have to be this kind of responsive with this tool, but it has worked. So in March, our increase in user engagement went up over 52%, and downloads were up 41%. So you can just kind of see in this slide sort of, there were drive-through pickups with our farmers in face coverings. You could pre-order strawberries. The strawberry growers, they were the ones that had to pivot first. They were in the middle of the season. Lots of CSAs picked up, pre-orders, that kind of thing. So statewide expansion's underway now. And this just kind of gives you an overview piece, there are 8 categories, and these categories were determined by the farm community, by the agribusiness community, that said, these are the ways that we conduct business and get local food into the community. So farms and fisheries, pick your own operations, farmers market, local food and drink. So that's the restaurants offering local food, the breweries, distilleries, wineries, shop local. So that could be jams, jellies, honey, any kind of value added products. Farm stays and lodging. So the number one tourist priority, or the tourist, I guess the tourist desire, was to stay on a farm across the world. That was the number one piece, and that's coming back now for our farms. So farm experiences where you can stay on a farm, get to know the farmer, do tours with the farmer, see how they grow their crops, manage their livestock, that kind of thing. Tours and trails, outdoor experiences are healthier than being indoors, according to the COVID-19 data that's coming from the Department of Health and Human Services and the CDC. So that's an area that has really seen an uptick as well. Special events could be any kind of a special event that a community is holding. Like one of a community is clearing the main street to offer a farm to table experience, that kind of thing. So what happens when you're in the app? And I hope some of you have downloaded it to play in it, because that's certainly the best way to understand its user friendliness and how much actual content and data there is in here. You download it one time, connected to Wi-Fi, and all of the data loads, which translates to you not needing to have that connection to actually get to a destination. That's already included in the download. So you download it, you push the Farms and Fisheries button, and a map will come up with the destinations closest to you. So there'll be a map. So each pinpoint is a farm destination, and then you'll also get a list, and the list will show you how far you are from each of the destinations and their hours, and just tell you kind of who's close by. You can actually filter by desires. If you're looking for a farmer's market, if you're looking for a farm stand, if you're looking for pick your own, whatever activities, you can actually go through and choose and filter and find those within the app. One of the biggest benefits to our farmers that we're hearing is that no matter if you are a brand new farmer, new to the market, or someone that is a larger grower, producer, everyone gets the same representation within the app. Every single farm destination gets a page. The page will identify that farmer, identify its location, let you know when they're open through an icon system, let you know, do they have farm animals? Do they go to a farmer's market? Very little copy because no one really reads. So it's very much sort of the USA Today version of a little caption that gives you the highlights. 4 photos, product, people, place, experience, images which can be liked and shared in social media. There is connection to social media. Most importantly, you can call the farm and get them on the phone, say, hey, I'm in the area and I'm going to be there 15 minutes early. Could you open your gate for me? That kind of thing. You can visit their website, and there are digital badges that the app team has created that can go on websites for participating assets. Most importantly, you push a button and you get there, you navigate there. Another important piece is actually being able to search by farm name, farmer's market, or products, and the products will come up with the number of results that are available. And this has been tweaked a little bit just in our last meeting of our core app team. We're now because we're so diverse in our state, we have a huge list of products. So we've organized this a little bit better by category to be more user-friendly and streamlined. So one of the huge benefits to being an asset within this product is that you have the opportunity to send out a marketing push notification. So a push notification is basically just a mini billboard, just to let folks know here's what's happening right now. It could be, here are all the blueberry growers offering you pick in our community, and click here to learn more. A user, when they download the app, they're asked if they want push notifications. You can opt out. You don't have to get them at all, or you could get them close to you, or regionally. You can turn all the buttons off, all the buttons on. You can switch on and off whenever you want based on how you're traveling about the state. So how do you get started? You get started with asset mapping. So figuring out that laundry list of local food destinations that could be represented in each of those 8 categories. And this spreadsheet, it's very robust. It basically gives us all of the critical data so that we can check it early in, say if you're a new community and you have 50 assets that are coming on board, the spreadsheet is used to actually assemble all of that content, and then it's checked as a whole before we actually upload it and make it live within the app. So that happens kind of in the initial stages of a community onboarding. This is what the back-end website looks like. So we have app administrators. So Caroline, the local food council in Carteret County, is the app administrator for Carteret County, and they have access to the backend website where they're able to edit any content at all for any of the assets that are in their community. That means changing hours. So when COVID hit, a lot changed. They were able to go in there and make those updates, and the updates occur within 24 hours. So the push notifications can be scheduled. We coordinate that with the core app team, and this is an example of one about hand sanitizer that ran in the middle of April for Windsor Run Cellars, which is a winery. There are sponsorship opportunities within the app. So there are lots of collaborative partners, Farm Credit, Farm Bureau. There can be nonprofits and all sorts of folks in the public and private sector as well that see this product as a valuable place to promote their business, their nonprofit, their organization. So across each of the categories, there can be sponsorship opportunities with the goal in mind that we wanted to create a product that would be self-sustained over time. This is the app info button where folks can chime in. They can give us feedback on the app. Most importantly, the feedback that we've been receiving is very consistent and has been. We've been tracking this since November. So basically, folks, just citizens, farmers, whoever, can opt in and let us know what community they're from and why they believe this app is important in their community. And the common denominator thread is that folks want to support local farms. They want to shop local. They want to know where their food comes from. And there are also farms that hop on and say, gosh, I want to be involved in this product. How do I get my community engaged and involved? So this slide just kind of gives you a snapshot of the state of where we are live right now. So that's in orange. The green communities are onboarding now, if not already live. There is expansion to include several regions. And there's lots of conversations occurring regionally in a lot of the areas where you're not seeing a change in color. The state's farmers markets are the yellow stars. The state's farmers markets have remained open the entire time of COVID and have really been a go-to location for local food. Farmers markets, in our last analytics that we received, last month's analytics, there were of the top 5 destinations within the app, so across all assets across the entire state. The 2 states farmers markets of Charlotte and Raleigh, plus the Oxford farmers market, which is in the Carteret region, so Granville County, they were the top 3 destinations. And what's interesting is that Mecklenburg County nor Wake County are participating yet as live communities, but because it's a population center where people were really seeking out local food, they became top destinations within the app. So we're seeing lots of really great news about what's happening. Also, this originally, we were thinking with this product strategically to capture the 51 million people that came to visit North Carolina in 2018. That's our most recent data that we have on that piece. Now, tourism is pretty much shuttered, and that's not really happening right now. But what is happening is that we have 11 million residents in North Carolina. And as things are now with COVID is very similar to what happened in 2008 and a couple of years after that, where we really leaned on our citizens to support local businesses and especially the local food community. So that's kind of where things have pivoted now. So if we can get the app live in every community across the state, and it's strategically very much an economic community vibrancy, economic development opening tool that could be used kind of during these very unprecedented times. So there's analytics. Analytics are shared with each of the communities that are on board, and this is an example for the High Country, which is Avery, Ashe, and Watauga counties. So each destination within the app, you see kind of how they are, what are the top destinations within my community. You'll get the overall analytics of how many users, how many, what the engagement is like, that kind of thing. So nothing works without marketing. So there's a unified, consistent, cohesive Visit NC Farms app package. And this package continues the menu of items from which communities can choose, continues to expand, and we actually custom design products as well. So there are buttons, farmers market buttons, folks wear them at farmers markets. There are window clings for shops and restaurants. These are the highly coveted push notifications that occur. These are just screenshots from a phone to share with you kind of what that messaging can look like. And we want to create them so that they are clickbait to encourage folks to get out there, shop a farmer's market, go to a farm stand, a local restaurant, that kind of thing for pickup. There is a website dedicated to the state's expansion. It's visitncfarmstoday.com. I encourage you to go there. You can see how it works, who's in it, and there's a whole area of earned media as well. We had an 842% uptick between February and March, and a lot of that was because every single major market in North Carolina picked up the story and promoted the app. There are lots of opportunities for us to promote the app within the agency, and we're certainly doing that. We have an Instagram and a Facebook that actually started amidst COVID. Our goal initially was not to promote this product and start marketing it beyond the local communities until we had hit critical mass. But when we hit COVID-19, it became very evident that we needed to get the word out just as quickly as we could, and mostly to get it in as many communities as possible. So there is grant funding available. I wrote for a grant, and there's money available for communities with a cost share. Carteret County received a cost share. This basically lets you know that there is a scaled investment to join. Our plan was to make it affordable, scalable, and replicable. We are being very generous when it comes to regional approaches. So when you have more than one community joining in, we have a lot of regional discussions happening right now. There is a maintenance fee, and that goes to support the app ongoing for Android and iOS. Provides you with the monthly analytics reports and all of the tweaks that are happening. It helps support the app administrators like the folks in Carteret County, who I would love to have chime in. There's also a minimum amount of marketing deliverables that are required for each community, and that provides, farmers market toolkits, just kind of whatever is needed, kind of at a minimum level. So how about if we get the folks from Carteret County to engage? And Matt, I bet you could pull my screen down if I can't. Let's see. Stop sharing. There we go. So are there specific, well, first, let's just start with Carteret County. Why don't you let us know about your path to joining the app, and let us know sort of what's working, what your process was like with asset mapping, sort of what your experience was like, so that we could translate that to other folks that are working with their local food councils.
Good morning. Hi. Thank you, Annie.
Absolutely.
I am Stacy Macklin. Let me turn my volume down. Oh, there we go. I am the business director for Carteret Local Food, which is a local nonprofit in Carteret County that specializes in connecting farmers to the local consumers. With me is Caroline Dominguez. She is a chef by trade, but she is also the farm and food director with the organization. I can go from where we started. I recently came on and took my position in December. So kind of the background research for Visit NC Farms was already done by the time I stepped on board. We went live in March. I think that being a food council or being small has certain challenges that we face. It's not as if we're, the North Carolina State Cooperative Extension. We're not a big name. So when we come saying, hey, we've got this new thing and it's really, really going to be amazing, a lot of people kind of have to stop and do their background on us first. So I feel like that's one challenge, but that is becoming less of a challenge as we go because we are becoming bigger. We're trying to expand into Craven and Onslow counties and farmers that we work with frequently in those areas. What was the beginning like?
So for me, I had heard of this through Catherine Elkins, our founder of Carteret Local Food Network, and she wanted to push this app, and she had worked with the program and the farmers in this area for almost a decade, and she had almost a paper-like version of what you all have created in this app. She called it her green map, and it was literally a lime green construction piece of paper. One side had a simple Excel spreadsheet of farmers' names, their addresses, their phone numbers, basic listing of what they had available, where they could be sourced. And on the opposite side was a map of our county with just a simple, key of where they were located within our county. So when she said and showed me the Visit NC Farms app, I was like, we're going to digitize all this information that she's been collecting and, networking and hoarding for a decade. Are we going to be able to share it with more people? I said, let's do it. So I went to a couple of different workshops, learned different techniques from the meetings with Miss Victoria online, And I said, this is totally something we need to bring to our county. You know, it's extremely long county. It's very rural. And it was a way to bring in new demographics to the farm stand. We happened to go live during a good time and a bad time. It was unfortunate for us that we had to cancel some of our our farm to table dinners, our cooking classes. But in light of that, we were able to do way more virtually for our farmers, you know, and we asked them, how else can we help you? And they said, you know, we need help with deliveries. So we were able to expand in that regard. And then, you know, the consumer said, we want more local food. How do we get it? Can you do a CSA box? So then it morphed into delivering for the farmers and creating a CSA box. And we're able to source from the local farms within our app and say, what do you have this week? Are you able to participate? Some farmers in the midst of COVID don't want to go to the farmer's market, honestly. So I have some small farmers that said, Caroline, can you put our products in the box so I don't have to go on the weekend? Because they might be an older demographic or they have, you know, 2 or 3 other jobs, you know. So it's been a way for us to communicate with our farmers and the consumers and see what everyone wants on this amazing, you know, tool. And it's been a really, really,
It's been interesting, I want to say, because we started with just Carteret County, and it was difficult because things are so rural, and because the county is so long, we're on one end of the county and our founder is on the other end of the county. So what she would refer to as a local farm, you know, is different for us on this end. We are right next door to the county line. So we have farms that, you know, were really excited to learn about this thing, but couldn't technically be in Carteret County because of their address. So when we found out a couple of months ago about the cost sharing program and being able to expand regionally, we really wanted to reach out to those ones that we are in contact frequently with. If you look at the map, there's really wasn't much east of Raleigh until Carteret County got on the map. So now it's been spreading the word, really trying to talk about it at the farmers markets when we're there on Saturdays, that kind of thing, to be able to really push these other counties near us to participate.
Not only that, but we're on the coast. The rest of the state isn't. So the great thing about the flexibility of the app creators is that we said, you know, we need some fishery content. We need some seafood options. You know, we sell all these awesome products, but they're not in my produce list. So the turnaround was amazing. You know, we gave them a list of items that we had just within our county, and they said, oh yeah, we'll add oysters and shrimp and these type of crabs and, you know, mussels and all these cool things that we have at the coast that you can't find in the rest of the state, so that we can, you know, add something else to the bounty of our county within the app. And it's been really helpful and really awesome.
So it's actually been so big that Caroline left her job to do this full time. So that's a very, very new thing in the last 2 weeks, that this is it. I mean, it's Carteret Local Food or nothing. And part of that is now devoting a large percentage of time to keeping the app updated and expansion. And we are way excited to be working on that on this end.
Yes.
So are there questions from the group for these trailblazers when it comes to local food councils kind of forging ahead? And I just want to really underscore the value of having Carteret County on the coast join in. One of the major challenges of our core team was to really engage the communities east of 95, where need is significant. The same is true, you know, all the way, you know, Murphy to Manio, you know, the conversations often happen. So we do have Cherokee, Clay, and Graham counties onboarding now in the far western part of the state. To have Carteret County choose to be a leader and truly lead the coastline, and our fisheries are so vital to our ag economy. and are in significant need right now as the food service industry is really struggling, and the marketplace is shifting. So we see this as an opportunity to really help. So so are there questions for these leaders from Carteret County, from others in the group? Okay, so are you all ready to sign on? So so maybe if you all are willing to kind of let's explore who's on the call and why you decided to join in. Okay, good questions. Yes. Questions can go in the chat if you wish. So Jenny, let us know how much time, hours a week, are you guys putting towards administration, Caroline?
So as Stacy just said, I was working full-time at the hotel and I quit. But with what I do with Carteret Local Food Network, I've been doing 5 hours of administrative duties for the Visit NC Farms specifically. A lot of my duties are a quick text or a phone call, an email. The great thing about what we're doing is I'm delivering for the farmers and doing CSA boxes, so I see them on a regular basis. So I can go to their farm stand, and if there's a change, they're like, oh, hey, our hours are changing, or we have more strawberries this week. Can we get a push notification? The great thing is our county is big, but very tight knit. So I see a lot of our participants on a weekly basis. So, you know, it's kind of hard to say, but I don't imagine going over.
I would say probably when it was just Carteret County on my end, because I was primarily looking at the sponsorship and the paperwork side of it. And I would say my end of it, setting up meetings and trying to schedule that stuff, was probably 2 to 3 hours a week. Looking at expansion, we plan to go a little more aggressively and probably do a combined 10 to 15 hours a week while we're expanding into Craven and Onslow. Now that things are lightening up a little bit with COVID, trying to really work with the sponsors, the new updates that we got from the last meeting where we now have sponsor analytics is hugely helpful, because that wasn't something we had before, where we could take that data back to a sponsor and say, this is how it helps, this is how many clicks you can expect to get, these are our sponsorship tiers, this is what you can hope to get with this. So I'm hoping that when we start, it's going to be 10 to 15 hours managing the 3 counties. Once we get somebody good to come in and take over the app administration for Onslow and take over the app administration for Craven, we would still see it kind of an overhead view, but we would expect our hours to drop back down as we start filling assets, and let them, we're there for reference and availability for questions for anything. But the idea behind it is to help the counties build up some confidence, get comfortable using the app. And then our participation in that could slowly back down as they become more confident and step up.
But keep in mind, we're paid employees of Carteret Local Food. So, you know, I don't want to overwhelm the volunteers that are trying to get this going. If you have a large volunteer base, you divide your assets and you take, you know, A through C, you take C through E and knock them out that way, you know. But however many hours you can give to this is going to be worth it.
I really appreciate that input about the time. I think the piece that needs to be underscored here is that you all are building relationships within your community. And as someone who has served on the state level local food council, one of the concerns that we have heard from the very beginning, and I started serving at the department in 2014, is that the representation of the growers producers was not always very significant when it came to the local food councils. You know, farmers are busy, producers are busy, that kind of thing. So where Caroline is seeing folks every week, really working and tweaking that relationship where they can really gain confidence in, you know, the network, in the local food council, and in this tool, which is designed to help them be a stronger business. Okay, so let's see. Can you talk more about the sponsors? Have you developed new partnerships and sponsors from this app?
We have. We actually recently took on a new one Monday. We worked with they are basically almost like a rehab facility. They focus on personal training and health, and overall nutrition. We met with the board several months ago and made a list of qualifications that we would require of our sponsors prior to getting started. We didn't really want McDonald's to sponsor the app. We didn't feel like they upheld all the values we did, but maybe like Farm Bureau Insurance was one that we need to approach. Any health or wellness, GNC, fitness, anybody who's really
stakeholder in
what we're doing and why we're doing it would be big. So we met with Crystal Coast Wellness Monday via Zoom and partnershiped up with them a little bit, looked at ways that we can help them, discuss sponsorship opportunities, CSA boxes, everything Carteret Local Food does. But they found us primarily through things that we had been posting on Instagram about Visit NC Farms, trying to take photos when Caroline goes out to the farms, to keep all of our followers in the loop as far as what's going on and what's available, and then sharing that information. So I feel like it's a good foot in the door. It's a good way to bring up or broach the topic of eating locally, is to say, hey, have you seen this thing? To be able to pull it up on your phone, and it is so user friendly and it's so bright, and with all the photos, it's very engaging. And they're almost immediately, even now in COVID, people will grab your phone and go, let me see that, and start poking around. So then you can scroll down and show them the banner at the bottom that has the sponsorship information. You can click here and go to their stuff. And it was a little more difficult before we went live to discuss sponsors, because we didn't have anything to show them. Now that we can show them, ones that are interested in, I'll say, social media marketing or any kind of digital marketing, they've been like, wow, this is awesome. The downside to that is, amidst COVID, everybody's business is suffering. So it's harder to get them to commit to a sponsorship right now than I think it would be ordinarily. It's just another hurdle. We'll get over it.
Good job. So, so are there other questions for these folks? You guys have done a great job sharing an overview. Matt, is there anything that you think would be helpful to this group that you've uncovered, or in working with the app administrators across the state with Victoria, that you'd like to chime in on?
We did have a few questions that were submitted prior to the meeting. Let me look those up real quick.
Oh, that's terrific. Thanks. Looks like Matt's best connection is outside.
My fiance works in an emergency room, and so she works the late shifts and she's still asleep. So keeping outside.
Well, good for both of you. Gosh.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, let me find these real quick. Sorry about this, y'all. We do have one question. Where have food councils been effective in helping to bring the app to their county? Could you all speak to, I know, Caroline, you're involved with the Carteret Food and Health Council as well. Could you all speak a little bit to what has the role been of the Food Council in bringing the app to the county?
Sure. The volunteer base is in both organizations, Carteret Local Food Network and Carteret Food and Health Council. So the stakeholders are all very similar. You know, they come from the Carteret Catch. They come from the North Carolina Cooperative Extension. One of our agents is in both operations. You know, so it's this. I don't want to say it's always the same players, but there's a lot of the same players at the table. There's a lot of overlap. And it's another tool to bring those small farmers and consumers together. not everybody on the council was aware of Visit NC Farms, but some of the key players were, and I think it's helped expand, so much so that some of the council members have ordered CSA boxes, you know, and have reached out to us and say, I'm looking for this particular item, you know, I want bok choy, how do I find it? I said, well, you could visit the app, you know, and we've steered them towards that so they can download it and use it for its intended purpose, you know. So the word of mouth stuff has now changed to sending them to this tool and this resource. And I think the council has helped with that because there's a lot of those people who are passionate about it. So they share that as well outside of their networks.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Ginny asked in the chat, how have most communities found funds for the ongoing app maintenance fee and paying for an app administrator? Do you want to take this, Annie?
Yeah, so it is truly cobbled together. So in most communities, it's led by agriculture stakeholders. So agriculture, economic development, tourism, and, you know, the Carteret Food Network. I mean, those folks, you guys have been the first. So it can be any, truly any stakeholder can come together to help kind of raise the funds. So there's, as we mentioned, there's cost share funding available. So having to figure out that 50% and then figuring out the maintenance. Many of the communities that are striking out to regionalize, which is what we're considering in Carteret County as well, to bring on Onslow and Craven counties, is that shared maintenance. It becomes $100 a month versus $300 a month for up to 100 assets. So that is not an amount that, I mean, farmers are saying, I would pay for that. I would pay to be a part of it. So what we've tried to do is say, okay, for the first year, hopping on board, we want to make it free to growers and producers, but perhaps it becomes a membership driver. So your sponsorships alone could pay for your monthly maintenance, and that's happening in many communities. In Avery, Ashe, and Watauga counties, they came to us without having to ask for any cost share funding. They had a list of sponsors when they came to apply to become a part of the program. The challenge is not the money, and that, you know, throughout from community to community, that is not the hardship. The hardship is identifying the app administrator and, you know, keeping that content current. And that app administration is crucial to the life of this product. And that's why we have this very thoughtful process of adding communities in. And it takes a while. It takes a lot of conversation with community stakeholders to say, okay, is local food important to us? Is, you know, lifting up our small growers, producers, agribusinesses, you know, small business shops and restaurants, you know, is that important to us? So it's an economic development strategy. So when you get all of those stakeholders together with a leader, like the Local Food Network is the leader in Carteret County, amazing things happen and the funding appears. So I wouldn't worry so much about that. And I think there's a natural process of discussion that occurs in communities where they say, okay, we will step up as the app administrator. So app administration oftentimes happens through cooperative extension, but it has also happened through tourism stakeholders. There are some new tourism stakeholders to the table now. Sometimes it can be a shared piece, sort of like Caroline described. You know, you divide and conquer and you come together as a team on a regular basis to make sure that all of the assets are being reached out to you on a regular basis so that that content is always current. I hope that's helpful. Okay, so we are we are down to we've got about 5 minutes to go, maybe 5 or 10 minutes to go here. Anyone else wish to chime in, have questions? We are certainly here as the core app team. If you all would like to reach out to either myself or Matt with specific questions, if you would like to have the presentation, need any samples of analytics reports, once you dive in to learning more, don't hesitate to reach out. Okay, so anyone have any last minute thoughts, questions? That goes for you all too, with Carteret County.
I was going to say, I think we're good because we know how to get a hold of you.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so maybe just share a little bit about your experience with our team, and with the monthly meetings that occur. If you've participated in those, just share about that experience, and I'm kind of putting you, without us talking about it at all, just I put you on the spot there.
So for me, the first experience was meeting Miss Victoria in a Zoom meeting as this, and she walked us through a couple of slideshows and, really got us pumped up and excited about this opportunity. And then I was able to leave the meeting and went back to, the stakeholders and in my life and my network and say, we have to do this thing. You have to see this thing. It's everything that, we have on this green map that we've been trying to digitize forever. They've streamlined it. They've made it super easy. And, if we have questions or whatever, we always know our Visit NC Farms team is out there.
I was going to say, I know that I've been blowing up both Eric and Victoria for the last week. We were adding a new sponsor, and I could not get it to submit and save the information. So I've had Eric respond back to me at like 10 o'clock at night where he's up and working on something. Victoria's an early morning person, getting back to me. Julie with Yellow Dog has designed stuff specifically for us that we've asked for, both social media tiles, buttons, stickers.
I've emailed her before and then she'll text me back, I'm in this meeting, but I will look at this as soon as I get back. And then, there's a happy face after it. And then, a few hours later, after she's done, I get a comprehensive email with all the answers I was looking for. And then a couple of days later, I get this box and it's stickers and T-shirts and all this cool stuff
Picnic items that
they've
really
talked
cool
about,
stuff.
and it happens. So everything that they've said has come to fruition, and it's just been really cool to know that if I can't handle it, I'm like, wait, I have a team for that, and I can go to them, and any one of the 5 of them could handle anything. So it's been
quickly,
really awesome.
It's always, the turnaround time is very quickly. I don't think that I've ever, even on a weekend, I want to say that I've been working on something on Sunday and been like, so this thing won't load, and you can send it out, and if they don't get back to you even on a Sunday, it's first thing Monday morning.
Yeah, it's been 24 hours, at least 12 hours between someone getting back to me.
It's crazy.
They work
all the time.
They work harder than you do to get this thing up and running. So, and that's saying quite a bit.
That's great. So there are app administrator meetings that happen every month where app administrators are able to come together as a whole group and troubleshoot, talk about things, talk about what they want. So our commitment to this product and to the app administrators and all of the assets on the app is to continue to listen, to make changes and tweaks. And that's the great thing about we have private partners. So Yellow Dog Creative is our private partner. Julie actually designed the app. Julie and I have known each other for a very long time. She used to work for the Department of Transportation and now she's a creative director. So she designed it, and then we have a tech partner as well. So Julie and I are marketing people. Julie's graphic designer, and so we had to add that tech person. So Eric is the tech person. He makes sure that the functionality of the app works, and if it doesn't work, he gets it fixed for Android and iOS. So we come together monthly to talk about things, and these guys touched on it a little bit about the box of materials that was shipped out. one of the things that we learned in the midst of COVID, it was like, okay, well, we have this product, and I had some marketing dollars set aside specific to promoting the communities that were live in the app. So it was like, okay, we're in the midst of a global pandemic. What can we get people to do? What is healthy? What's something that we could get the folks to engage in that is related to the app? So we said, well, people can still go on picnics. They can still go outside. So what we did is we created North Carolina made t-shirts that basically just are branded with Visit NC Farms and have download the app on it. There are pop-up market baskets that can be chock full of local food products that can be given away through social media campaigns or kind of whatever the local community decides is the best way to promote it in that community on a local level. There are also picnic blankets, and everything's branded. We came up with Julie has a great partner to help us figure out these promotional items, and every single live community got this package at no cost to promote, to market. And that's sort of the long time goal, kind of once we are through across the state, then our responsibility of this team is not only to keep that communication effort and keep tweaking, but the marketing of this product so that we can continue to have lots and lots of new users, lots and lots of new engagement, lots of new customers, because what this is all about is supporting the individual growers and producers, the local food providers, and how they're connected in communities so that we can have strong communities across the state at a local level where we continue as a whole collectively to share with citizens and tourists when they come back that this is the go-to app for finding those products and services when you want them with 24-hour updates. So with that, I just want to share, thank you so much for all that you all are doing in all of your communities with the local food councils. It's so important. Your work is vital we're all connected. We're all in this together. So this is an opportunity for us to further strengthen our relationships and collaborate. So thanks for joining in and learning more today. We're grateful. So Matt shares, thank you too. And thank you so much, you guys from Carteret County. Thank you so much for joining in. Even with your, all of your, with the fan going and
sorry.
Yeah, no
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Thank you for chiming in. We're grateful. All right, y'all take care. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye.